Welcome to Storyflix. In this video, we will explain Close Range Love. This movie tells the story of a smart high school student falls in love with her new handsome English teacher after she begins to receive extra class tutoring from him. The relationship between them became more complicated since they were teachers and students. How will their love journey take place? Let's find out in Close Range Love.
近距離恋愛
Close Range Love begins by showing a female high school student named Uni. She is a smart student at her school, but she has a rigid, aloof, and introverted personality. She doesn't have many friends at school and only has one best friend named Nami. One day when the class rankings were announced, Uni again got the first rank in her entire class, but Uni, who saw her name was in the first rank, only had a flat expression and was stiff. Her friends beside her are shocked by Uni's attitude that does not express any happiness. At the same time, a handsome male teacher named Haruka is walking out of the classroom. He is the English teacher at the high school. Haruka, who sees Uni reading the class announcement alone while playing with her cat Clip, approaches her and asks if the cat hair Clip is her friend. Uni does have a habit of rubbing her cat-shaped Clip at certain times. Haruka tries to comfort Uni by saying that sharing happiness with pets is sweet. After that, he asked her to come to see him in the teacher's room after class ended. Uni's interaction with Haruka was noticed by the other students there. This is because Haruka is a quite popular teacher among many female students at the school. In particular, a female student named May and her two friends really like Haruka. The three of them look jealous of Haruka and Uni's closeness. During a lunch break, Haruka relaxed in his car and smoked a cigarette. Meanwhile, Uni is waiting for Haruka in the teacher's room as instructed by Haruka before. She is a bit annoyed that he still hasn't come. Shortly after Haruka arrives, Uni asks why he wants to meet her. He explains that he wants to give her additional English lessons after school hours. This is because her score for English lessons is still below average. Hearing this, she looks annoyed while squeezing her skirt. During the lunch break, Uni has lunch with her best friend, Nami. She was Uni's only close friend in high school, even though they were both in different classes. Uni complains of her annoyance at Nami for having to receive an extra course from Haruka. When they eat together, Nami introduces her classmate named Saki, none other than Nami's new boyfriend. Saki looks awkward with Uni's very stiff and quiet attitude. Nami then explains that she is a very kind and fragile girl, even though she seems arrogant and stiff. Nami already knows her personality very well because they have been friends since they were in middle school. After class ended, Uni came to the additional English class that Haruka would teach. When he explained sentence patterns, she looked confused and still didn't understand. She feels that English lessons are much more difficult to understand than maths. Haruka then explained that the key to learning English is to express our feelings. The scene then changes to Uni when she returns home. She lives with Kazuma because Kazuma, her uncle, has acted as her guardian since Uni's parents have died. He often motivates her to study hard and take advantage of every opportunity to enroll at Mendel University, California. But she said she had given up on that ambition for a long time. The next day, during additional lessons, Haruka gave a module book to make it easier for Uni to understand English lessons. At first, Uni refused because she was not interested in learning English from the start, but Haruka managed to persuade her by adjusting her learning style. Haruka asks Uni to write every word she has learned 5 times into her notebook so that she can understand English easily. May and her two friends looked envious to see Uni getting extra lessons from Haruka. They are jealous of the closeness between Haruka and Uni. That's why the three of them asked Haruka to give them additional lessons. But the request was rejected by Haruka because the English class scores of the 3 students were already excellent. The next day, during lunch break, Haruka approached Uni, who was studying alone in the classroom. It turns out that Uni is working on an additional class assignment given by him. Even though Uni didn't seem happy with Haruka's arrival at first, she became embarrassed by his presence over time. Before leaving, Haruka tells Uni so that she doesn't misunderstand the attention he gives her. Hearing this, Uni immediately replied that she would not misunderstand because she had never liked him. Then during lunchtime, Nami complains to Uni, who is constantly busy studying. Uni replies that she should be able to score 70 on the English exam, this time to end her extra class with Haruka soon. Nami is surprised by Uni, who really doesn't like Haruka, even though many other female students idolize him. Yuni replies that she doesn't like Haruka for many reasons, but what she hates most about Haruka is the smell of his perfume. During the English exam, Yuni's mind suddenly went blank, and all the previous material that she had memorized suddenly disappeared. At the same time, Mei saw Haruka walking around the room, stopping at Yuni's desk and looking at her for a while. Mei became annoyed and angry. After class ends, she suddenly invites Yuni to go with her because she has something to say. It turns out that Mei and her two friends took Yuni to a sports equipment warehouse to be bullied and trapped there. The three interrogate Yuni, who is always close to Haruka, and assume that she pretends not to understand English to get close to him. They lock her in the warehouse after pushing her until she falls and leaves her alone. Yuni kept trying to open the door, it won't open. When Mei and her two friends returned to class, Haruka had asked them about where Yuni was, but they pretended not to know. Mei then said Yuni might have gone home because she was embarrassed that her English test score was low. Haruka notices that something is wrong with Yuni, so he tries to find her. Not long after, Haruka managed to find Yuni and took her out of the equipment warehouse. However, Yuni doesn't thank him and says that she can get out without his help. Due to Yuni's sprained leg, Haruka immediately picked her up and took her to the school clinic. The incident was seen by all the students in the field. So many students cheered and made a commotion. The noise of the commotion was accidentally noticed by Kazuma. While at the school clinic, Haruka immediately treated Yuni's leg with a bandage and then cheered her up. At that moment, the relationship between Yuni and Haruka seemed to be getting closer. After that, Kazuma appears with the school nurse. He looks worried about Yuni's condition, but she convinces him that she is fine. She then lied about the cause of her sprained leg so that this problem wouldn't be any bigger. The next day, Nami invites Yuni to shop at a clothing store. Nami intends to buy Saki a gift in a t-shirt because he just got a job. Nami explains to Yuni that when someone we love wears something we give can make us feel happy. Upon hearing this, Yuni looked at the square pattern tie and intended to buy it. It turned out that the next day, Yuni gave the tie to Haruka. She deliberately gave the tie to him as a sign of thanks for everything he had done so far. But Haruka quickly refused the gift because he didn't deserve any gifts from his students, as he had fallen in love with her. Unexpectedly, Yuni immediately slapped Haruka and said she was trying to thank him. Seeing her crying, Haruka feels guilty and tries to calm her down, but she has already run away. The next day, Haruka is called by the principal to stop the additional English class taught to Yuni because Kazuma, as Yuni's guardian, said that Yuni was getting more depressed since attending the extra class. In addition, the principal thinks that with Yuni's current grades, she can get into any college. After that discussion, Haruka finally agreed to end his extra class with Yuni. After the additional classes officially stopped, Yuni and Haruka couldn't see or interact with each other anymore. This situation has made Yuni feel very sad and hurt. She has not understood the strange feeling right now, so she asks Nami about her sadness. Nami explains that what Yuni is feeling right now is how someone feels when they love someone else. Nami was curious and asked who she liked, but Yuni chose to keep it a secret. After school, Yuni stops by a bookstore to buy a book about love so she can overcome the strange feelings she had. According to the book she found, she had to confess her feelings to the person she liked to overcome the feeling of confusion. Even though she had doubts, she still intended to try. In the following days, Yuni begins to act strangely in front of Haruka, and this attitude makes Haruka irritated. Then Yuni tries another way to confess her feelings to him. She plans to write her feelings down in a book and show it to Haruka. The next day, Yuni hides under the teacher's desk when Haruka's class is about to begin. Haruka was surprised when he realized that Yuni was behind his desk. Yuni quickly opened the book written by her so that Haruka could read it. After reading the text, Haruka was stunned. The other students almost caught him for looking at Yuni for too long. Haruka then told another student to read the material and accidentally dropped his pen. While picking up the pen, Haruka immediately kissed Yuni's lips. Since then, the two of them have officially started their relationship. The scene then switches to the time of summer vacation. Haruka and Yuni spend time together on a lovely beach. Haruka decides that he will marry Yuni after her graduation. Then he explained that no one should know the relationship between him and Yuni because their status is still teacher and student. At first, Yuni opposed to hiding her relationship, but she finally agreed to it. Rumors of a romantic relationship between Haruka and Yuni began to spread in the school, so the vice principal immediately called Haruka to clarify the rumors. The vice principal has reported that Yuni's English grades have drastically improved because Haruka has secretly tutored her in extra classes. He reports that a student saw Haruka and Yuni hanging out together during summer vacation. Hearing that, Kazuma denied all the rumors accused of Yuni and Haruka. He is even willing to take responsibility if the two of them are proven to have a love relationship. Unexpectedly, Kazuma knows about the love relationship between Yuni and Haruka. But he deliberately covered it up to protect Yuni and prevent her from being expelled. In the evening, Haruka goes to Kazuma to thank him for helping him cover up the rumors between him and Yuni. Kazuma replies that he did all for Yuni's goodness. He then tells about Yuni's ambitions to study at Mendel University in California and asks Haruka to persuade her so that she wants to achieve her goals. Although, at first, Haruka didn't want Yuni to go to college in California, he finally relented so that she could achieve her goals. The next day, Haruka meets Yuni and says he wants to end their relationship with a big heart. He even says that he doesn't love her anymore. Yuni felt very sad and disappointed by his words and couldn't hold back her tears. The night after Yuni and Haruka's relationship ended, Yuni decided to continue her plans to study in California. Since then, she began to study hard and focus on her studies. The scene switches to when Yuni leaves for California to continue her studies at Mendel's University. Nami, who was accompanying her, realized that Yuni still had feelings for Haruka. Nami promises to convey Yuni's feelings to Haruka. After Yuni departs for California, Haruka feels very lonely and misses Yuni. He often returns to the room he used to teach her extra classes. Meanwhile, Yuni is living her college life at the campus of her dreams. When winter comes, Yuni is desperate to meet Haruka. She realizes that Haruka still loves her. Haruka lies when he says that he doesn't love her anymore, so that she is willing to go to California to study. After hearing all that, Haruka apologizes to her and promises to love her for the rest of his life. The scene ends with Haruka and Yuni embracing each other under the beautiful twilight rays. The moral that can be learned from this movie is that true love can come at the wrong time. And our job is to keep that love alive until the right time comes.